Welcome to Happy Medium, a podcast where artists make art on the spot. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Happy Medium podcast. And today we have Lauren on as our guest. We are doing paint by numbers today, and we're making this photo of fruit. Yummy. So, Lauren, would you please introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Lauren Blakeney. I'm originally from Houston, Texas, and I live in Tampa, Florida now. I was a professional dancer for about 8 years, and now I am choreographing and teaching in the area.
Okay, so we're going to be, just so everybody knows who's listening, we're doing paint by numbers. It's a photo of fruit. It's got pineapples, I don't know, fruit, I just realized, guava, probably some
kiwi,
oranges, some lemons,
yeah.
and we're just going to paint it. So I'm doing like a brownie color. What color are you doing right now?
I am doing more of like a black color.
Okay. So, Lauren, you've been dancing for a long time.
Very long
We
time.
met through dance, actually. We met well, I don't remember how we met. Did we meet when you started teaching at the studio?
Yeah.
Okay, so Lauren teaches now at the dance studio I grew up going to. So, I love that.
Yeah.
I love the dance world. It just
I
brings
know.
everyone
It's so
together.
small.
And now we're good friends.
Yeah.
I love it. So, what does dance mean to you?
For me, dance is like an escape. You know, it's that thing that you can go to and just have an hour and a half or 2 hours or 3 hours where you're just present. You know, it's almost like a meditation. You're like mindful of what you're doing, if that makes sense. And you're not worried about everything outside of it. It gives you that little break from life to just dance and then release all that energy and tension and stress.
I feel you.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the only time, it's one of the few times in my life where I think my mind could be quiet because my brain's always ticking all day.
I can't meditate.
No, me neither.
No, I need someone to be talking the whole time.
Yeah.
Like if you're talking or there's words or music, I can do it. But if I just sit there in silence, I'm like, they're all
Too much time
too
to
much
think.
stuff.
So how did you get into dance?
So my grandma was a dancer, my mom was a dancer, but I was originally in gymnastics and I kind of liked it better. But I started getting up in levels and I was like around level 8 and it started to get a little scary.
How far did the levels go up?
10.
Oh, so you were like getting to the top.
Yeah, I was getting up there and then I was like, I don't know if I like this that much. And my dance studio was upstairs. So I just started like kind of skipping gymnastics and going upstairs. And
try that.
Yeah, and I just was like, I'm just going to keep taking classes. And I don't know, I just kind of fell in love with it more. And it felt more artistic for me. It felt more like, you know, instead of just being hard-hitting and strong, I could like be soft and delicate.
You could like express yourself more.
Yeah. It wasn't as like rigid and, you know, what's the word? Technical in a way. Like, I had more freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, do you think you would have found it even if you hadn't done gymnastics?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, I definitely think this was something I was like born to do kind of thing.
So when did you start dancing? Like what
I mean, I
age?
started dancing young, like 3, 4, like everyone else. But I was in gymnastics at the same time. So like dance was kind of, at the time was more so to help with my gymnastics. Because, you know, with our beam and floor routines. So I just kind of kept doing dance because it was helping.
Yeah.
And then it was like the opposite.
Yeah. Then it was like throwing off the gymnastics.
Yeah.
Because people think dance and gymnastics are very similar and they're kind of like interchangeable, but they're definitely
they're
not.
super opposing.
Yeah.
They're definitely a completely different style. And like, you know, on beam, you have to be parallel. You can't be turned out. So it's like just very different. But I will say all the strength that I gained from gymnastics helped me so much with dance.
Right.
Because I was already so strong.
Right.
So it kind of, then it was the flexibility and the grace added to it. So, yeah.
So then what was it like? What was your teenage years? So I'm guessing you're probably like 10 to 12 when you decided to switch to dance.
Yeah.
So how would you describe your teenage years pursuing dance? Like, were you just doing it for fun still, or were you like seeing it as a potential future for yourself?
I think the first few years, like probably like 10, 11, 12.
Yeah.
I was like, this is fun. I love this. I'm really enjoying this. And then I did my first real summer intensive in New York. And I was like, wait, stop everything. This is amazing. I'm obsessed. So I think that's what really started that kind of change where I was like, oh, this isn't just a hobby. Because, you know, when you grow up, everyone's like, what do you want to be? And I was wrote down a veterinarian because I love animals. But, I mean, I didn't love school that much, so that was never going to happen.
Yeah.
So I think it really just turned into me just finding something that fulfilled me in that way. And I just ran with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad you found that because, you know, slightly off topic, but not really. I'm starting to feel like that question of like asking kids, like, what do they want to be is like a little.
It's hard.
Is it a little, I don't want to say toxic, but I feel like it's a little toxic because
I think so
they're asking them a question that they can't. I mean, I can barely answer that question now as an adult. So if you ask a 12-year-old what they want to do.
I think we should ask more so like,
what do you like?
Or what kind of qualities do you want to have? Do you want to be a good friend? Do you want to be a good person? Do you want to, you know, things like that. Like, who do you want to be? Not what do you want to be, but who do you want to be?
Yeah.
And I think that's like a better way to look at it rather than, because like, you're going to change all the time. And we should have the freedom to evolve and be who we want to be. But, you know, you don't have to be that one cookie cutter thing that you said when you were 7.
Right.
You know?
Because then you kind of follow it. Like I said I wanted to be a doctor, and then I went to college, and I tried to be a doctor like that first year, and that went wrong like immediately.
Yeah, because you got to see if you like it.
I'm not a science. Yeah. Like I'm not into science in that way enough to pursue it.
Yeah.
But it was like the first thing that I thought I could do. So even though I enjoyed arts and, you know, dancing and singing and theater much more, I thought, oh, well, that's what I'm supposed to do, though.
Yeah.
Because that's what I kind of said.
The supposed to do thing. And, like, you can just take it away.
Right.
You're supposed to do whatever you feel like you should do.
Right. And if you do what you feel is who you are, then it'll probably work out better because you'll be more passionate about it.
Yeah.
So when you were a teenager pursuing dance, it's, you know, as we both know, it becomes like a huge part of your identity and how you see yourself and just it's hard to describe yourself without describing dance.
Oh yeah.
So has it been hard for you now as an adult to find your identity as not just a dancer since you still are a dancer, but it's not all of who you are? Have you found that difficult?
Yeah, I mean I went through like a full-blown crisis whenever COVID hit and I broke my neck. But
oh my god, I forgot about your neck.
But I think I was like, who am I? You know, because so much of my identity growing up, I was the girl that danced all the time. You know, I didn't really have friends at school because all my friends were dance friends because I couldn't do anything on the weekend. I couldn't, you know, I was always at the studio and I didn't mind it. It wasn't something I hated.
Fun.
Yeah, I loved it and I wouldn't have changed it. But like I didn't do those normal things. I didn't go to prom. I didn't graduate with everyone. I didn't, you know, I wasn't invested in cultivating myself as a human. If that makes sense.
I do.
I was literally just invested in me as a dancer.
Yeah.
And I put all of my self-worth into that. Yeah. I wanted to be a dancer. And I think I'm really glad I had that like grit and tenacity to push through and knew what I wanted. But I wish I would have saw some things in myself that were good outside of it.
Yeah.
Because I put all of my self-worth into it.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. So can you describe a little bit, like, what was your regimen? Because that's like, I also danced, but it wasn't as intense.
Yeah.
Like, I did find that I didn't go to a lot of parties, and I had friends in school, but really my friends were at dance, and I didn't really do anything else. Or even when I tried to do other things, dance always kind of overtook it.
Oh, yeah.
And I also struggled to kind of figure out, well, who am I if I'm not a dancer? So I'm curious, like, what your regimen was like, because it sounds like it was even more vigorous. Like, you didn't go to prom? I didn't know you didn't go to prom.
I didn't go to, I don't know. I think it was just for me, like, my high school in Texas, you know, it was like you're either a cheerleader or you play volleyball.
Yeah.
And then, or you're on, what is it, student council? And I was like, I don't have time for any of those things.
Yeah.
So,
I have a job after school.
Yeah, I'm working.
Essentially, yeah.
But yeah, so I think I just didn't find where I fit in that way. And dance was the place that I fit in. And I think not having that at my school was really difficult. So I think just my regimen was literally go to school, go to dance. And I'm one of 4 kids. My mom was a single mom. So in middle school, my bus dropped me off at the dance studio.
Okay, so right after school,
I was literally just chilling at the studio 4 to 9:30 every single day.
Wow.
You know, cleaning the studio at night. It was just it was something that I really loved, but I think I kind of was almost pushed into it. Like I had to. I mean, there was no other option. No one could take me. You know.
Yeah.
So I think. And then also too after that, once I decided this was really what I wanted, I was in every class I could.
Yeah.
You know, my mom was like, if I'm paying for that unlimited, you're going to
just
go
take
to
everything.
every single class. So I think it was just kind of like that. I was there all the time. And I wanted to be. It wasn't, you know, I remember being in high school and everyone's talking about like, you know, their homecoming dress and like this, that, and the other. And I'm like, we got a dance convention this weekend.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that.
And this all day.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
Yeah, for the whole weekend.
Yeah.
I'm going to get 4 hours of sleep and, you know, just do it all. But I think it's just my priorities just weren't the same.
Right.
At the time because
they weren't the same to most like 16-year-olds at the time.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. I really enjoyed it. And when I talk about it now to other people, they're like, oh, you had like a little job. I'm like,
yeah,
I guess, but it didn't feel that
like
way.
Job.
And
no.
at the time it was fun. It was just what I did and it made me happy. And it was hard too. It wasn't like every day was fun. I mean, dance is hard.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you spend half the time kind of like groaning because you're holding something for longer than you should, or like you're
in pain a little
you're
bit.
trying to make something that's difficult look really easy. But for the most part, it was just really fun. You know? So since dance is one of your greatest passions, it's also probably been one of the hardest things you've had to do and caused you the most hardships. How do you balance that?
For me, it was learning that it was okay to have a bad day. And it was okay to be injured, which was really hard because I'm one of those people that will, to the day I die, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I don't need to sit. I'm fine. I got this. But, you know, it's, but I think giving myself grace. Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing, and letting myself not comparing myself to anyone else or even a past version of myself. Yeah.
That's the rough one these days, isn't it?
So it's like, it's just giving yourself grace and space to be the person that you are in that moment. Yeah. And like letting yourself breathe and get through it and remembering why you do it. And because you're not doing it. I think a lot of times in dance, we do it for validation. We want that outside validation. But what about our own validation? Right. And how do we feel about ourselves? And so I think that's what's most important. So I think with those hardships, it's figuring out how to work through them and give yourself grace through those moments, and also understand someone else may be projecting what they feel onto you. And so it's being mindful and being aware, but it hasn't been easy. It's taken a long time. You know, I'm 30. Yeah. So getting to this point was not something that happened overnight. Yeah. And it's been a lot. I would probably say more recently, like in the past 5 years, that I've really started to like get it.
Yeah, have full like acceptance of like the experience and who you are now. Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about, because I'm curious too, like what were your like 8 years of professional dancing like? Like what were you doing? Because I know you traveled a lot and did a lot of different things.
So most of my stuff was in Europe, which was the best. Yeah. And I loved every single second. My first real job was, I went to an audition in New York and I booked a show called Rock the Ballet. And we were there in, where was it? Maryland for like 6 weeks. And then we went to Hamburg and we were there for 6 months. We were in Germany, Austria, Finland, Switzerland, all of the places. And so we did a tour there, and I was 19. I had just turned 20.
Yeah, I was just about to ask, like, how old were you?
So I was just so unaware, like, you know, and also too, like, this was before everywhere had Wi-Fi and like things like that. So I just wish I could go back and redo the whole thing, because I was like, oh my gosh, I did not go to that place, and I did not do this, and I did not do that. Yeah. You know, it's like one of those things when you're young, you don't realize what experience you're actually having. Yeah. So I did that. That was my first job. And then I worked for a dance convention for a really long time too, like intermittently when I was home. And then I did a show in New York with a contemporary company called Still Motion. Okay. And then I did Norwegian Cruise Lines as an aerialist and dancer. Yeah.
How long did you do that for?
I did that for 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah. That was probably... And that was kind of the turning point in my career, I would say. Because I never boxed myself off. I was always that person that was like, I can do anything. But I think there's a stigma on, you know, if you're trained classically, you should be doing stuff that's, you know what I mean? Like the contemporary companies are the coolest and like things like that. And you don't really understand that like there's a whole world out there. And it kind of forced me to like smile when I danced, and you know what I mean? Like, like I realized that dance could just be like, fun.
Yeah, be
and
fun.
Entertaining.
Not always so emotionally like tolling.
And just draining, you know? Like, I was like, I remember my first show coming off and being like, my cheeks hurt. Like I had never smiled that much in a show. And I was like, this is weird, but I like it. You know, it was just fun and easy. And it wasn't about, no one was judging me because they were just there to have a good time too. Right. So it was like, as long as I just put on a show.
They're happy. And you get to be happy too.
Yeah. And so it was kind of, it changed performing a little bit for me because I realized it wasn't as much pressure as I thought it was going to be.
You just brought up something that like I don't think my brain like ever put together when we were dancing, that like it was always being judged. Yeah. Because when I was a kid, I would tell myself that like I didn't really care about the judges and I was just up here having fun with my friends, but there was this element of like, we've got to do really well and we can't. We've got to get a gold, not a high gold. Yeah. No, what was it?
Platinum.
High gold wasn't even good. Yeah. That was like, oh.
Platinum.
She's okay. Yeah. Yeah, we got to get a platinum or a first place platinum. And it was never like, we rarely danced for fun. It was, it was supposedly for fun, but it was always being judged, and only recitals were meant to be fun. Yeah, and even those sometimes could not be fun because now you've invited all your family and your friends, and you've got to do like this great performance. And that's really true. Yeah. Like, I'm glad you got to experience it in a way that's just like for fun.
Well, and I had like a moment with Rock the Ballet, and I remember like, because there was only 2 girls. Yeah. In that one. And we did our first like leg of the tour. We came back to Maryland. And I remember just being in the studio and being like, why am I trying so hard for everyone's validation? You know, because I could look and I would feel like everyone liked the other girl more than they liked me. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and it was just my insecurity. I do. But it was like, gosh, I just wish I could be here. And I was like, finally, like, I don't care. I'm just going to go out and do it. And like, I felt so good. And I realized the response that I got from people was even better. And I was like, But then, you know, I had that moment, and then it like, you know, insecurity obviously crept in at that point. And I was like, okay, never mind. We're not going to stick on that path. We're going to keep going down. But, you know, and then I finally got to where I was with Norwegian, and I just was like, this is just going to be fun. Like, why am I putting so much pressure on myself?
Just enjoy it. Yeah. Everything doesn't have to be a pressure cooker. No. It's like a terrible habit. I'm still like, I'll notice, I'm sure, I hope you don't. I know you do it. Like if you go to the gym and you're in a class, like a spin class or any class, I'm always competing with everyone in the room.
Everyone,
I've got to be the best.
I will not take a break.
Yeah, I've got to be the best. Why? And I tell myself that it doesn't matter. It's a class. Yes. I'm here for fun. Even in like a yoga, I tried to start taking yoga because I wanted to chill out. Yeah. And I'm competing with the girl next to me doing my chaturangas. Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, mine's better. Yeah. That's what I'm telling myself in my head. And I'm like, why do I keep doing that? But it's this competitive nature that's like been instilled that is like really, it's a slow breakdown process. Oh, yeah,
for sure.
Where you're just like learning to not be so comparative to everybody all the time.
Well, and I think that's something we learn too. And like, I think as a teacher, I'm really aware of it, and I don't compare my students. Yeah. Because every person is different. There's no reason for us to be, you can be competitive, but be competitive with yourself.
With yourself, yeah.
Like, you don't need to beat the person next to you. You need to beat the person that you were yesterday. Or like 5 hours ago. You know what I mean? But like, even still, you really don't have to. Like, you can just come in here and do your best. Yeah. And like, that can be enough too. Yeah. But if you want to use that competitive nature to your benefit, that's going to be a much better use of your time than, you know, comparing yourself to every single person in the room.
Yep, I agree.
Which is not
beneficial or helpful in any way.
Not fun at all.
No. Knowing your journey in dance, the good and the bad, how do you think that is helping you create how you see yourself today? Like, how has it formulated the person you are?
I think, so for me, I would say most of my struggles actually happened in my childhood. I thought the dance world was going to be this really scary, awful place that, like, just broke me as a person. And I really have to say that, like, that didn't happen. I think there's a lot of fear based around going into like a professional career or performing arts, and I can understand that my experience may be different than other people's, but I think my childhood experience was almost worse than my professional experience, because I think I don't know, I maybe just got really lucky with really, really amazing people,
right?
That were human beings first, and then their job second, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I think I had a really good professional experience. So I think, if anything, I think I was like over prepared. I went into it so scared. I was like, oh gosh, here we go. And then I was like, oh, they're all just people. Yeah. And like, they actually, a few of the jobs I really felt like they cared about me, like as a person. And, and also you meet so many amazing people. Some of my best friendships are from people I met in those contracts. And so I think, I think people are like put so much pressure on it, but actually if you just let yourself enjoy it, and it's a job, and it's something that you get to do every day. Yeah. And you're working with like-minded people. It's like the best. It's the best, Yeah. You're really experiencing something, that's kind of beautiful rather than...
It's really unique. Yeah. It's hard to describe because I know we just said a bunch of stuff about all the pressure, but it was still like, it's a priceless experience. Yeah. Like I feel like what I got out of dance was far more important than the actual skill of dancing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think it taught me a lot about like pushing through hard things. It taught me about being responsible with my time, with other people's time, how to work with different personalities. Yeah. Like just so many things. Yeah. And I really cherish it. And the friendships, like all the friends I've made, even the friends I made in college ended up being dancers. Yeah. I didn't even know they were dancers at first. I think you just gravitate towards each other.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And it's a really, it's really beautiful, and it's hard to express. But I think like anybody, I feel like it probably happens in other sports as well. Like if you have that really close-knit group and, people are really genuine, like you get these like really great relationships that you can't. For sure. They're like irreplaceable relationships.
Yeah, because it's like a shared experience. Yeah. I wouldn't say it's like a trauma bond. Yeah. But it's a shared experience bond because, you're like-minded, like you said. Like you grew up doing something similar. And I think it's wonderful. There's so many positives from all the negatives that have maybe happened. Yeah. I really now can look back and see all the positives that have, that it's instilled in me. Like you said, being on time, grit, tenacity. I was lucky enough to like grow up with parents that really believed that I could do anything I wanted. Yeah. Like, and I truly believe that. I'm like, and it's made me fearless in the sense of like, sure, I'll
try it.
I'll go there. Like, it's not, I don't think I can't do it first. Maybe while I'm doing it, I'm like, oh no. Yeah. But I have but I have that initial like, yeah, that sounds great. I've never been like afraid to say yes to something. Because like,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I think that's a really good quality.
That's a really like special quality most people don't have.
Yeah, I'm very much so. Yeah. Let's do it. Like I don't think, and then I'll think about it later. But I like at the time I'm like, sure, great. Yeah. They were like, you want to do aerial? I was like, sure,
I can do it.
Sign me up. I have no idea what that is, but figure it out real quick.
I'm sure I can do it.
Yeah. It's just I've just kind of been like, I'm my only like thing that's stopping me. Kind of thing. So I'm the only person that can, so might as well
try it.
If I fail, great. But if not, could be amazing.
So then what do you wish, is there anything you wish you knew about dance and the dance world before you started that you think could have helped you maybe have a better experience? Is there anything?
I wish that...
She said,
I wish that there wasn't such a stigma around, like, entertainment, like cruise ship work or, like, even commercial work. Or because growing up for me, it was, like, contemporary or nothing else. Like, it was, like... I mean, if I wasn't in Kid Pivot, it would be the end of the world for me. And I wish there wasn't that stigma around, like, doing that work is less than. Because it's not. You're still doing dance. You're dancing. That's what you want to do. Right. So I think I just would have... I wish I would have known how great everything was.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, I wish everything would have been fully supported. And there were some people that were, but I think as a whole, and like where I grew up, I think it was just like, this is what you need to be doing.
Right.
And I think I just didn't realize how much I could do.
Yeah, because it limits you within the world you're in.
It was
like,
like
there's so many opportunities.
Yeah, and I was just that person. Again, I was like a yes person. I was like, so it was like whenever everyone said, oh, that's not cool, you can't do that. And I was like, but why? You know?
Well, I want
like,
to try.
Yeah, and I think it took me a while to kind of get out of that mindset. But I think just for young dancers, like knowing that any part of the dance world is good.
Yeah.
Like, you're dancing. That's what you want to be doing.
Right.
So, like, not letting yourself be boxed in by anything or anyone.
And feeling like if it's not that cool thing,
Yes.
that it's not worth trying. And
Yeah.
sometimes doing those things can lead you to get to that cool thing.
Exactly.
You know, I think that happens with a lot of professions. People feel like if I'm not doing it big first, then it's not worth doing.
Yes.
But no, like if you really love it,
Yeah.
then you're doing it
You're in
anyway.
it for the long haul, not the short game. So,
yeah,
I think it's just one of those things where I wish some people would have been like, oh, that's
encouraged that
a little bit
more.
more encouraging of just different sides of the dance world.
Okay. And then last question, who is Lauren today? How would you describe yourself today? I know that's a big one.
I know. I think I'm really, really passionate, but in a good way. I think, I care a lot. I think I'm someone who puts a lot of energy and time into my friendships, my relationships, my students, my family. I really just care.
Yeah.
I think I'm reliable. Like,
You are.
I'm pretty reliable. I would say, I really like being there for people and showing up when I'm supposed to show up. And I think, I don't know. What else am I?
That's fine. You don't have.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
I'm
I'm a good human, I think, for the most part.
Yeah.
I think I've done okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm someone who learns from my mistakes. I try every day to be better. I think I'm just a human.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
You're a human who's a fantastic dancer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can be both.
Yeah, you can be all the things.
You can be all the things. You
can be all the things, kids.
things.
Well, thanks for being here.
Oh my gosh,
guys, we
you.
painted a little. I'm in a, I don't know what this is. I think it's a guava. And Lauren's doing,
I have no idea.
we don't know, but it'll be pretty at the end. But thank you so much for being a part of this episode. Is there anything you want to add?
I think just to anyone watching, like, you're more than what you do. You can be anything that you want to be, but also think about those core values that make you who you are. And your friendships, your relationships, your family, those are so important. Don't neglect those for what you do, because at the end of the day, what you do doesn't make who you are. It's just a part of it. So I think just, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
Cut that out.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Happy Medium. You can find more info about the guests and other episodes in the show notes or go to our website, artsaccessflorida.org. Thank you to our sponsors, Community Foundation Tampa Bay, building a vibrant, prosperous community through transformative vision, leadership, and philanthropy at cftampabay.org. And the Gobioff Foundation, supporting human rights organizations and the Tampa, Florida arts community at gobioff-foundation.org. Lastly, thank you to PRX for consulting on this podcast, the Arts Access Florida team, and the Florida Department of State, Divisions of Arts and Culture, for making these episodes possible. Copyright 2023, WUSF Public Media.